Hang on a minute. So, hello everyone. This is going to be quick. I've just met these lovely people from Brazil. Say hello everyone.
Hello.
And they've just come off this sightseeing tour bus, and I thought it'd be cool to start that video comparing Geneva with Zurich, just asking your opinion. So you've just arrived.
Yes.
So what's your first impression?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We're loving it.
And is that worth the money, that tour bus?
So far, so good. You
Yeah.
know, it's quite nice.
So
we haven't seen much.
Have you
yet,
seen the
but
UN?
Not yet.
So
no.
the tour bus doesn't go to the UN first?
No.
Interesting.
No. Yeah.
So what are you expecting from Geneva? Are you here for a week or a weekend?
Oh, just a weekend. We are actually going to Chamonix.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
So
we are just spending
interesting.
A few hours.
Well, I would give you one. So if you're here, Chamonix, then are you driving there?
Yeah.
So you could go to Megève as well, in the same day. That's the other ski resort. That's worth going to. And also, if you still have the car, if you come back to Geneva, I would drive to Lausanne, Vevey, Montreux, all on the same day.
That's a great.
But just before I start the Zurich Geneva, so far it's a thumbs up for Geneva.
Sure.
Right.
Thumbs up.
Thank
Definitely.
you very much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your trip.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
time. Bye. So that's interesting. So we'll just roll from there. I had to get them quickly because they're going back on this Geneva sightseeing tour bus. Hello there, this is Will from Travel with Will, and today we are in Geneva. That little interview at the beginning was very random, so it was short and sweet. But we're going to be doing why I prefer Geneva to Zurich quickly, so a comparison between the two. I picked Parc de la Grange for this little comparison video because it's beautiful. It's getting cold now, so excuse me if I sniffle. But yeah, this is where Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin had their serious conversation about whatever they talked about. And I think they picked it because from there you can actually see the UN building. So it's most probably, well, it's a nice view as well. I mean, and that's Lac Léman, so the Lake of Geneva. So let's start there. So I love Zurich, by the way. The people are super nice. Everyone speaks English, but Geneva has a better lake, in my opinion. So all of this is my opinion, it's not fact. And the reason why I prefer Geneva Lake is because you've got Vevey, Montreux, Lausanne, Evian, Tonon. It's just beautiful, it's stunning if any of you have been on boat trips there. In Zurich, the lake is very nice. You've got the Opera House near it, and you've got the main shopping street that heads down towards the lake from the train station. So it's pretty, but I think Geneva wins there. So let's go on to the people speaking English, because I know a lot of you are tourists. And let's face it, we all communicate in English. It's just the way it is if you're traveling. Geneva, they do speak English, but I think Zurich wins that one, where everyone speaks English, and very well as well. And I've met some really cool people in Zurich. And so if you want to go and not have to worry about speaking another language, I think you can get away with both, to be fair. So we'll call that a draw. In terms of cuisine, so food, I'll be switching between the arms, by the way. I don't want to get a stiff arm. I've got a few videos to do today. I would say Geneva has better food. And plus you can cross the border to France, and there's some really nice restaurants in Ivoire. Between Ivoire and Tonon and Evian, you can get some really nice filet de pêche, which is the fish from the Lac Léman. I think Zurich's most probably got a better variety of restaurants from different cultures, because Geneva, a lot of people from London that come to Geneva complain about the food, because obviously in the UK it's very good restaurants and stuff like that. So I would just give that to Geneva, but it's nowhere near on the level of, say, a London or a New York or somewhere like that. So if you're into museums and indoor activities and stuff like that, I would say Zurich. But if you're into hiking, skiing and more adventure stuff, then I'd give it to Geneva. So Zurich is the biggest city, it's got the biggest population, and Geneva is the second biggest with the second biggest population. So Zurich is financial, Geneva is international. So you've got the UN and all the international organisations, the big companies. So people say there's more money in Zurich. I think there might be more money in Geneva, but they're more reserved. Whereas in Zurich it's a lot more flashy, like I look at how wealthy I am, So you want to be seen with your money in Zurich, whereas in Geneva I think people are more chill. So in any of the cities in Switzerland, it's beautiful. They're all clean. And where there's money, let's not lie, there's a good quality of life and things are safe and clean and there's things to do. So on that front, it's a draw, I'd say, between them in terms of being clean and safety. I would most probably say I feel safer in Geneva, but that's because I know the city. And there's a really weird road in Zurich. I remember it looked quite dangerous, and there was a man with a can of lager, and he had one leg and he was hopping down the road. And that image has just stayed in my head because I thought, wow, I couldn't believe I saw that in Switzerland. So yeah, I've seen some pretty weird stuff in Zurich. I've forgotten the name of the road now. If I remember, I'll write it on the screen here when I'm editing. But that's the lake there, by the way. That's the UN building. And there's no jet today. That's another reason why Geneva... And let's have a quick look at that as well. It's pretty. Yeah, so you've got the jet on the Geneva lake as well. That's pretty nice. The things that I'm really curious about is the Swiss people who watch. Hello, by the way, I love your country, it's very pretty. What do you think's better? Because I'll give you some things Swiss people have told me in Zurich. They've said to me that Geneva isn't Switzerland, it's the international part of Switzerland. So they don't even class it as a kind of Swiss city. And people in Geneva, they always say that Zurich is their second favourite city, basically. So here they quite like Zurich. But I think the German part, I don't know, there's a bit of a bit of needle between the two areas, and correct me if I'm wrong please below. It's just what I've experienced speaking with local people. Let's do some talk about pricing. You know, Geneva is a very unique city. Its layout. So for example, if you stay in a hotel in the old town, or Paquis, or Eaux-Vives, where we are now, you can get to any of those places by foot easily. In Zurich, you want to make sure that you book your hotel in the old town area, because there is nothing else apart from the main shopping street, the lake, and the old town. The rest of it's quite industrial, I found. Whereas Geneva, I think the suburbs are nicer in Geneva. Yeah, and that's why I would pick Geneva over Zurich. For me, Geneva is definitely better than Zurich, because you've got more things to see around the city centre, whereas Zurich is the beauty is in the city centre. And it's very pretty. And maybe it's got a better skyline than Geneva. But I find it very compressed, Zurich. Everything's it's all squashed together, and then outside of the old town area or the city centre, it's very industrial looking. Yeah, and the first time I ever saw like gangs and stuff that might be like what you'd see in the UK was in Zurich, funnily enough. I saw a lot of gangs and people hanging around on street corners and stuff like that. So I think it's more of a city than Geneva. Geneva's a baby city. It's a bit like Oxford, it's small. But you can drive to Chamonix in 30 minutes. You've got to be careful for cyclists these days. That guy nearly had me over. A bit of an exaggeration. I'm trying to think what else I found strange in Zurich and Geneva. Well, we're actually going to be doing a video after this one about safety. Do I think that Geneva is safe? And because I've visited a lot of Switzerland, we're going to talk about other cities as well. But yeah, let's end it there. Oh, for cost, sorry. So Geneva, I would say, is a little bit cheaper than Zurich. For accommodation, it's a little bit cheaper than Zurich. And the public transport is, I think, better in Geneva as well. I think Zurich might be... The parking, when I parked illegally for like 10 seconds, I went into the shop to get a drink, I came out and I already had a parking ticket. And the same with Geneva. I think there's more police around. If you see something wrong happening, then suddenly a policeman arrives in an unmarked police car. So they're both equal on that, I'd say, for just don't break the rules, basically. So Geneva wins it for me. Please comment below, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and tell me any stories or experiences you've had in either city. I think I'll leave you with one story I will always remember about Zurich. I was filming for my other channel, Walks with Will, and I just remember this, it was so funny. If I was vlogging then, I would have filmed it. And there was this little old lady, a Swiss-German lady, and she was telling me about the lake in Zurich, and she was saying people are very rich here and we care a lot about money. And then she started singing money makes the world go round, like that, and it was just insane. I've never met someone so bizarre. And in Geneva's a bit more like this. You could go to a bar, have a beer, we do this often, me and my friends, you can invite like an old man to join you for a beer. You would not have a clue who he is, or because people are very reserved. You'll go to pay the tab and he's paid it for you, and he could be some like top scientist or a multi-millionaire. That's very much Geneva. Everything's low key. So it depends what you're looking for. For a bigger city experience, definitely Zurich. For the nature and exploring beautiful areas like this, I would definitely say Geneva. So that's the first comparison video, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and see you soon.